And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow on the East-West Show. That is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. The Belgian royal family designated the brand of jewelry with 400 years of a great, glorious history that is hand-forged by 10 generations of the greatest craftsman, which stands for testimonies to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. Right. That said, brings us to the show. With me today on the Biweekly update is my dear friend, my beloved brother Ken Hemming of Pasadena, and he is a CPA for life.
Yes.
But he is a writer, of course, and he writes a great book. Life is Simple, 100 Words to Live By, which is still very valuable to me.
Yes.
And I do it, I read it, my wife read it, and my daughter is working on it. Right? So, back to the show. The weekly update for this 2 weeks, though, what do you think that is on top of your list?
Well,
That you're ready to share with my audiences, please.
there's a lot happening on planet Earth. Really exciting things, some of which are exhilarating, some of which are depressing. And so I guess one of the things that when we look at the media right now and what gets so much coverage, as a matter of fact, getting much more coverage than related to the next election, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren.
Right now, the biggest news in this country is about the
squad.
about Robert Mueller.
Oh, Mueller's, yes.
Yeah, Robert Mueller.
I saw that
So
today.
with the Mueller testimony, though, what do you expect, or how do you comment?
Well, I listened to Alan Dershowitz, who's a world famous attorney, basically a Democrat, but he puts the law before ideology. And he watched it, and he said that it was kind of sad that Robert Mueller didn't appear. He's 74 years old, and you could still be brilliant and phenomenal at any age, but that he didn't appear to be on his game very much. And Dershowitz said I'm sure he did not write the report, which is 400 pages.
448 pages.
Yeah, a lot of pages, and also may not have even read the whole thing, because when he was asked questions on certain elements of it, he seemed a little bit disjointed from...
Off track?
Yeah, a little bit off track, yeah. Now, he's had a long career, but he contradicted... With his words, he contradicted himself in several times from the words that were in the report. So on one side, you had the Democrats that are all just looking and hoping he says something that they can use to impeach President Trump. And then on the other side, you have the Republicans that are trying to find out what activities caused this special counsel to even be named and spend $30 million investigating President Trump, when really the conclusion of the report is there's no conspiracy, there's no collusion. And he wouldn't talk about that because he never included things that he should have been in his purview to study and investigate. He said, I didn't have that in there, so I'm not going to talk about that. And I knew he would escape very, very important questions. Now, the only good thing about him escaping these questions, Jack, is that Attorney General Barr is also working on investigating this on his own. So we're going to find out, because he wouldn't talk about the dossier on Trump, this very nasty thing that was totally made up and fake. And he wouldn't talk about that. So Dershowitz also then said, probably it's the tie, the Democrats, and they were speaking like with loud voices as if they're jurors trying to convict somebody to go to the firing squad. In other words, they were just talking so, picking out little phrases.
He's now facing the House Judiciary Committee and the House Intelligence Committee.
Correct.
Right? I, on the way, heard the Congressman Adam Schiff, chair of the House Judiciary Committee, I
Right,
guess. Oh,
right.
no, Intelligence Committee
He's from Glendale.
was questioning him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for an investigation that started 2017,
Yeah.
right?
24
for
months.
2 years, for 2 years,
Yeah.
that ended
May 29th,
last
probably.
March.
I think May, but
May
okay.
29 was the day he concluded with
Okay.
the testimony.
Yeah, okay.
With the testimony of, after all, 9 minutes
Yeah.
of a speech.
Oh, yeah, when he just read his thing, yeah.
Yeah, 9 minutes of a speech.
Yeah.
So for an investigation that cost $35 million,
Yeah.
I really have questions about either, the investment money that is injected into the whole thing,
Yes, sir.
that I would like to compare with the result.
Well, yeah, there's actually kind of no result other than, because there really was not a proper purpose to open the
When I say
investigation.
result, I do not mean to have find Donald Trump have done something confirmatively, right?
Right, sure.
I'm talking about a conclusion of none,
Well,
a conclusion of final.
they had a
Say,
firm
that's the
conclusion.
conclusion of zero conduct, zero illegal activities whatsoever.
It was concluded zero collusion whatsoever, zero, no evidence of it. And then whatever the evidence, if there's no crime, how can you conspire to deflect being looked into in the crime? Now, Mueller admitted President Trump did not fire him, did not interfere with anything they did, gave 1,600,000 pieces of documents. It absolutely did not interfere with his investigation. He also admitted that all of the 14 lawyers he had were all Democrats, and that a bunch of them had contributed to Hillary's campaign, including one of them that was at her intended victory party on the election night. And he said, well, that's just coincidence. We don't ask questions about, well, obviously it's not coincidence.
No.
I mean, it was a whole team set up to try to destroy the president.
I'm only pressing for the same answer to my previous question.
Okay.
Previous question is that if you concluded a investigation,
Right.
you call it a concluded investigation.
It is.
That's affirmatively ended up, right?
And Mueller says it is. It's
why
concluded.
are they starting all over again?
They won't give up because they lost the election. They can't stand the country
Who are
doing
they?
so well. The radical leftists that are in the they have taken over the Democratic Party, Jack. Look, there's really nice Democrats and nice Republicans just like us. They're just guys, moderate. See, there's a difference between liberal, which is fine. You just see a little different than conservative people, okay, in terms of how to allocate money and where to put your money. But when you get to radical left, you're out of Americanism and you're into socialism or tyranny or whatever that is destructive to America. The leftist is very different than liberal, very much. And the ideology is just concrete. And they also do allow for, like with Antifa, violence and hatred and lies. There's no moral fiber in leftists. In liberal, there's moral fiber.
Why would we allow such a thing to happen in front of our eyes?
I love your question. It's brilliant because many people are, in a way, sort of sissy-like and they're intimidated, okay? Like, nothing can intimidate me, okay? Nothing, including death, no problem. They're intimidated. Schumer, and Pelosi, they've been intimidated by the radical left, and they're submitting to them, just like, what's required, submit or. So the Democratic Party has war going on in itself. Now, I don't really like Schumer. I don't like Pelosi, but I stand for them.
Are you saying that there's no war amongst the Republicans themselves?
There's rhinos in there, Republicans in name only, but they're not nasty, they're not evil, they're not, they're not that kind of situation.
Ken, my good friend.
Yes, my love.
Let's do our things in the Hemingway, which is your way.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yeah.
The Ernest Hemingway.
Exactly.
How about that?
And our words are earnest, spoken in an earnest
very
way.
Very earnest.
Yeah.
Very earnest. I am talking about the fact that the fact that we are doing the same thing over and over again
is ridiculous.
We are doing the seesaw actions to ourselves, though, right? Why are we doing it? And the last week when I was doing the other interview
Yes.
with a friend of mine, Mr. Chris Shahinen,
Yes,
right?
I met him. I like him.
We mentioned the fact that we are record-breakingly divided as a country.
Well, see, but now in the 2018 midterm elections, okay, the Democrats took over the House because they had a lot of moderates running that were able to steal some of the House seats from Republicans, okay? They had moderate guys, like, you know, they'd have a veteran, and maybe he believed, like one guy was a veteran, he believed in guns, he believed in the First Amendment, and he was able to win. So they won.
By using the word steal, I know,
Well,
or people
yeah.
people would know that you are a Republican without a question.
No, not when I
Right.
say steal.
So
they just took
when
the
seats
election.
are
They
open,
didn't steal it
when the seats are
immorally.
open, anybody can take it.
Yeah, well, the seats were, well, there's an incumbent. But no, I don't mean they did anything naughty, okay? They had better candidates then. They had more moderate American believers in the Constitution and due process of law. Now, this time, they've lost their party.
That's why I say this country is totally divided and record-breaking.
Right now, it's a disaster.
We've never been this divided.
In the Congress, okay, right now the Congress, which is controlled with more Democrats than Republicans, they do nothing in terms of making laws and legislate. That all they want to do is investigate and impeach. So it's very sad because nothing's getting done except President Trump still gets a lot of things done because he never quits.
All right, my dear friend, my lovely audience. Today we're talking about, it is our bi-weekly update. We're picking up the most important things. With the Robert Mueller testimony, I don't see that myself being interested in that. I'm more concerned about this country, that we are record-breakingly divided.
Yes.
For a Congress seat that's supposed to be open, any party can, well, if they win, they take the seat, right?
And you need a certain type.
There's no stealing. There's no stealing involved.
No, I didn't.
And I really hate to see that. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll probably pick up Donald Trump, the story with Donald Trump and the 4 congresswomen. How about
squad.
that? All right, very good.
Everything is expected to straight. It's like the same runway.
My name is Paul James. I host the news.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audience, and welcome back to the East-West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history, hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsman. That stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to our bi-weekly update with my friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a wonderful philosopher and a lover to life. I like him. He told me that one day that every mouthful of oxygen tastes sweeter than the one before.
Absolutely. I live for oxygen.
Every mouthful of oxygen tastes sweeter than the one before.
And my last breath will taste the best.
The best, right?
That's how I live.
Very good. Okay, now, yes, back to the show. We were talking about this country being divided, and we also talk about in speaking, while speaking, right? Excuse me, in the civil society, you'd better put some guards on your lips.
That's true.
Now the
Good
looks
point.
that there's no guards anywhere doing that kind of job. The media has a free lips.
No, it's-
Everybody has the free lips, including our president. Every time he says something wrong, and there goes the fire trucks to seize the fire. I mean, to fight for the fire. And then again, he does the same thing, and we see the same thing again. Okay, now, with that said though, Do you see a firefighting right now with the story between Donald Trump and the 4 Congresswomen, the squad?
Well, one thing I'd like to respond to is, as you say, every time he says something or every time he says something, he says things when other people have said things first, and he responds to them with the truth. So he doesn't pick a fight, he finishes a fight. So yes, what we've got going on right now, there's 4 people, okay? There are 4 females. There are 2, one's from Somalia, there's another one from Maine. Those are 2 women of color that are Muslims. And there's one African-American lady from Chicago whose mother was a community organizer just like Obama in Chicago. And then also there's a confirmed socialist, AOC, that's out in New York. And so right now they've kind of come together, coagulated together into one mouth of resistance and hatred and against President Trump. And so I did.
Do you think under the right of Constitution they do have the freedom to express themselves?
Well, if you want to, if you know, I guess there is hate speech. Okay, 2 of them are anti-Semitic, hate Jews, hate Christians, and there are certain limits to freedom.
Do not give definitions. What did they do to indicate themselves that they hate Christian?
Oh, well, Muslims and Christianity are not exactly brothers and sisters.
No, that's their problem.
Well,
that's an
obvious
what they say
statement.
evidently out of their mouth, the 4 out of their mouth, to indicate they are a group that are going against the Christianity. Evidence. Evidence, I mean.
You know, they've been there since they were inaugurated, okay? For example, the one Tlaib, the very second she was sworn in as a congressperson in the United States of America, she's up screaming, I'm going to impeach this MF president. Nasty, rotten, low class, no dignity. That is, it's not, you know, there's supposed to be civility. They are not speaking in civilized terms, Jack. Civility, okay? Now you'll tell me I'm dumb in certain things.
Yeah, I do not agree with her declaration
it was horrible.
on the at the moment winning the congressional seat, right?
Yeah.
Which the MF statement is really crazy, as uncivilized.
It's uncivilized.
Even uneducated.
But also, there's videos that have come out in 2015-16 where she's screaming at Trump rallies. They're escorting her out, and she's screaming and yelling at the camera, "You're insane, you're rotten, you're no good." Just incredibly uncivil, okay? And so she looked like a buffoon before. Somehow she got elected, and now she's in there, and the second she's in there, she's just as uncivilized.
Okay.
Trump is responding to this.
Sure.
Now, the biggest problem, it's not with Trump, because Trump is secure. He can handle anything, okay?
And everything has 2 sides like a coin, right?
Yeah.
On one side of the coin, she did what she did, which looks very ugly that day, that moment, when she yelled, screamed, also at the top of her alarm with the MF statement
about a
president.
Yeah, that's not very nice.
Which is totally uncivilized.
Look, we all know we've had presidents in the Oval Office that have sworn.
And on the other hand of the story, though,
what's the other
hand? On the other hand of the coin, why would that kind of person be elected by her constituents?
Now, I love what you say. They're like, for example, AOC, because I'm not going to say her name, I just don't respect her. It was in a district in New York, and it was a long-term Democrat that was in there, and he just thought he'd get reelected again for the 10th time or whatever, and he didn't really campaign. She was a bartender when she started campaigning, okay? So she wasn't exactly a business person or having any financial knowledge at all, and has said so many ridiculous financial comments that they're just not logical. Yeah, but she went out there and she worked, and I think she got in with 16,000 votes. And then now she's in here and she's creating all of this chaos. It's pure chaos. But the biggest tragedy is not how they treat Donald Trump. The biggest tragedy, because see, the Democratic Party took over the Congress in 2018 with kind of moderate Democrats running and beating Republican guys.
Yeah, sure.
But
I
now
agree.
they've taken over. They're getting all the noise out of the media, and the media is supporting them. And the people that are hurt are Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi in the leadership of the normal Democratic Party. And they've succumbed.
Instead of going one by one with the four
Yeah.
congresswomen, great congresswomen,
Right.
I call them congresswomen.
Yeah, Congress people, Congresswoman, yeah,
Congress
whatever they are.
women, they are, or Congress who.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the Donald Trump side, right? Would it be better off for Donald Trump if he just took it as if nothing had happened? No, by responding nothing.
Well, that's what Pelosi and Schumer are doing, and in fact, they're giving responses supportive of them. No, Donald Trump is not.
I'm only asking. Would it be better for him if he keeps silence?
No.
If he offers zero response?
No, he's got to call them out for what they are. I would do the same. I probably would be more stringent, in my words.
Okay, all right.
So he needs
And
to call
you
them out to identify
Yeah,
it.
sure. You have the freedom to feel the way you feel, right? And to express the way you feel, though. But to the general Republican public, they have their point too. The general public would believe, the general public, the majority of the public opinions would believe, as a president of the United States, you got a better job to do.
That's incorrect. The public loves what Trump is
You
standing
have a
up
better
to
job
them.
to do rather than this arguing and barking back with these four women.
I totally disagree. Their ratings in polls are so low, they are not appreciated by the public, period. They're not acting, they're not pro-American. They don't say anything good about America. AOC called America garbage. She called you garbage and me garbage. I'm not garbage. I might smell like it sometime, but I'm not garbage, Jack. And so they're saying these things that are so demeaning to America. And it's either our country, and I grew up all the time, America, love it or leave it.
Sometimes
That's a
in
normal
this world, though,
thing.
when there's an argument, you're talking about equivalence. You're talking about equivalence. If I had a fight with Tyson,
Yeah.
I had a boxing fight with Tyson.
Right.
Right?
No equivalence.
Would Tyson fight me?
No.
Would Tyson fight me? No. He will not. Because he and we are not equivalent
Right.
boxers. I may be a boxer,
Right.
but he's the king of a boxer.
Okay, but those
Right?
four ladies.
So for Donald Trump, if he remained in silence, what would be wrong?
He wouldn't get reelected. It's that simple. He wouldn't get reelected.
All right.
We need him. We need his mouth.
In other words, he did it for his own benefit, for his reelection.
He does it for the benefit of the citizens of America. Donald Trump works for the citizens. He doesn't have an ego that he needs to have. He's already successful.
I know, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree that you have the freedom to do so.
Well, do you think he doesn't work
And
for our
I
people?
do have my freedom not to think your way.
Well, I think you do think my way deep down.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I told you day one that I was not a supporter, and I'm now not a supporter either to Donald Trump.
I think you'll vote for him.
No, I didn't vote.
I think you will in the next election.
No, I voted for none.
I know, that's
Hillary and Donald Trump. I just flip it over the
so you
page.
just
I took easy.
Well,
all
now,
right?
and I've shared with you, you're a citizen, you have a responsibility to vote.
I
and I
only
beg you to
support
do it.
I only support the concrete actions that he did right.
Well, look what he's done. Low unemployment rates, a 50% increase in the Dow Jones. People are getting out of prison that have been in there for sentences too long that was put through with Obama and Biden way back, okay? Trump has done everything that has helped America.
You
and he stood up to the
you are a
trade war.
CPA yourself.
I know money.
You are an economist yourself.
Yes.
Which means you know money, right?
Well,
do you
not
agree,
as much as others, but yes.
Do you agree or do you reject the fact that the economy has its own law? in the cause of their growth.
No, I don't. Because what he has done is he has removed so many regulations that, look, President Obama, fine, whoever he is, he is. He was anti-business, okay? And he said,
Okay, anyway,
yeah, he was
let's take a short
anti-business.
moment out. Let's take a short moment out. We come back to continue right away, please.
Everything. We have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host the news every morning.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the discussion about America. Today with me is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, who I argue all the time. I would say 98% of the time, but I love him 99% of the opportunities.
Thank you.
So anyway,
That's
back to the issue. Argument is bad, not bad, right? Argument is not bad because you express yourself. Later, you either come to a joint agreement or each of you reserve your different opinions, right? Let difference remain.
Sure, let 'em
right
just
now.
settle.
You mentioned about the fact about the economy.
Oh, God,
I
yes.
know the economy is getting better,
tremendous.
tremendously.
It's not just getting better.
But the credit doesn't go to himself alone.
Nothing alone, but only if Hillary had been there, we'd be at 14,000 maybe if we were lucky
No,
in the Dow.
fact is that Hillary is not there.
I know, and the reason we are where we are is because of the leadership
If
of
Hillary
Donald Trump.
is there, if Hillary had been there for the past 3 years, though, the economy, the same thing would happen to the economy anyway.
Don't say that, Jack. That's just too naive to say. Okay.
No, anyway.
We don't have a politician there. We have a businessman. He knows how to run a business. He knows how to make profits, and the profits are going to the people in America.
By that, I am not saying that I like Hillary Clinton.
No, but Hillary.
I don't like her at all.
We'd have no military. We'd have 10% unemployment rates, but we have the lowest of unemployment rates for blacks and browns and,
Okay, now,
and Asians.
let's
It's
do this.
beautiful.
I do agree with the tremendous growth of economy,
And he deserves the
I
credit.
do not agree with you that the credit 100% will go to him.
Of course, not 100%, but a big portion.
Well,
His leadership
anyway, a reasonable
as a
big portion, a reasonable big portion. That's it.
Way huge.
All right.
Yeah.
And Obama did his job too.
He did it very poorly.
Well, poorly.
But he did his job.
Okay, all right. He did
He
his
had a
job.
different agenda.
All I'm saying is that he did his job, like Jack, right? Jack Chow is doing his job in this show, poorly whatsoever.
No, you do
I
yours-
did my part.
You do yours beautifully.
Right? You did your part.
Yeah.
I did my part. Right?
Yeah.
The thing is that together we make it a show.
Correct.
You tell me to whom you or I should the credit go?
Oh, to you. You're the leader
No.
of the show. It's your show.
No. To both of us.
Well, 75,
And
75%.
and
you.
even goes to Jonathan, because without him operating the camera, we do not even have a show.
There's no picture, there's no noise.
There's none, right?
Yeah, right. We need
and
him.
even include
totally dependent on
even
him.
include our audiences with them watching. Without them watching, why are we doing a show?
We'd be at a breakfast place just talking to each other.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right,
right.
all right. So to be
thank you.
fair, we should recognize everybody and anybody. The economy it is now, to which we benefit, to which we love, to
Right.
which we hail.
Right.
However, with a sober mind, we have to convince that, this thing, the credit goes to not evenly, maybe some
yeah.
more, some less.
Well,
We do not want to forget anybody, including Obama and his people.
I could forget Obama. I don't include him.
Who did their job, their part too.
He said there'll be no more manufacturing jobs. Well, we're up 800,000 manufacturing jobs since Trump came in, Jack. He's made a difference.
I know. You love Donald Trump.
No, I love the leadership.
That's your cup of tea.
I love the
I am
leadership.
talking about the fact that the credit of this economy goes to everybody.
That's fine.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Let
Not equally.
let us mutually reserve our own
Mutually agreed.
Oh yeah, okay. Anyway, so back to the point.
Yeah.
To Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying that it would not hurt him. It will if he just remained silent without a comment.
He wouldn't be reelected because it's not Donald Trump to be intimidated and submissive. He's not going to do it. If he did, I wouldn't have voted for him. That's simple.
Well, anyway, that's your opinion. And to my opinion,
my reality.
Yeah, to my opinion, well, he exactly because of that, he is losing his
what?
potentials. He's losing his supporting
No, he's
rate
not.
bit by
It's
bit.
getting his approval rating. If the media said one thing good about Trump, his approval rating would be 60 or something. And because he's fighting not only the radical Democrats in Congress, not only the rhinos, the Republicans in name only, also 95% of the media, which says nothing good about, plus Silicon Valley, Google, and Facebook, which depress and detest
the other day,
America.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine who doesn't like Donald Trump either. All right? And he told me, I know you like him.
And
you don't have to say it again. I know, please.
Yeah.
Let this sign testify that Ken Hamming does like Donald Trump. That's okay.
Right, but you said also, okay.
No, I mean, a friend of mine who also doesn't like Donald Trump, we had a conversation. You know what he said?
I have
He
no
said,
idea.
I promise you, Jack, Donald Trump will be re-elected.
He will be.
And I will have to vote for him. This friend told me that.
Good. I'll buy him a beer.
All right? And he says, I do agree with you that you and I, we all don't like Donald Trump for good reasons.
I can't name
But
a good reason.
that is the status quo of this country. Now, in expressing his point, though, he says, why exactly what he said, right? As Donald Trump shall be or have to be, or chances are that he is reelected, that's one thing, right? And it is just because of that, this country is dangerous.
Well, I think that's insane.
The country is dangerous.
What does
because
he mean?
now,
What does
because
he mean
now
by dangerous?
the country is so divided.
He didn't divide it, Jack.
No. The country is so divided. He made it this country even more divided.
Totally wrong. The Democrats have divided all the way back with Obama, whose only agenda was to
I
divide.
do have problem with Democrats. With Democratic, I have maybe
Normal
stronger.
ones I don't.
No.
Yeah.
With the Democrats, I may have even stronger. I mean,
I hope so,
discrepancies.
Yeah.
Call it discrepancies.
Right,
All right.
right, yeah.
But that doesn't prevent me from telling the truth. The truth is that I'm worried. I'm worried about the United States of America, my country. That's why I like the statement made by Joe Biden at his campaign speech. I don't know, campaign slogan.
Right.
I wonder if he still keeps it. Or maybe accidentally he mentioned that he was going to bring the American moral up.
You know, there's nothing more immoral than the Democrats right now, Jack.
They
have no morality. President Trump is a Christian. He believes in Christ, and he supports the Christian religion in America, okay? The Democrats, you can't be a Christian and live by the Ten Commandments and do what they're doing in their agenda.
I wish not to
You can't.
represent any religion myself on this show.
No, that's fine, no.
Right?
I'm a Christian.
I'm a neutral. Okay, I'm a
Right.
Christian too, myself.
I'm not neutral, yeah.
But I'm not specifically promoting Christianity.
No, that's fine, yeah, right.
Because
Trump is.
excuse me, I love other religions too, right? So now,
You may.
of course I may. I have the
may.
right.
Yeah,
no,
you may.
and I may transform.
There's some I admire,
I may
some I don't.
transform any day I decide, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, I am talking about the fact that this country is being divided, is being dangerously divided.
Not by
okay,
Trump.
now, when a country is divided, is being dangerously divided like this, some kind of ill-mindedness are produced and proliferated.
And that's what the Democrats are doing now. The radical left are ill-minded.
That's what everybody else is doing.
Trump is not dividing the country.
He is.
No, he's not.
Right? He is.
He is not.
And internationally, he does the same thing.
Let me tell you something. Like Trump, he goes, they tell me.
And you tell me.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Who is a shithole countries? Whose country is a shithole country?
Well, we got about 50 million in America that are pretty pathetic citizens that are radical leftists, socialists.
No. I quote unquote Donald Trump, shithole countries. You tell me which country is that?
Well, some of those places that pretty much are.
No. I
won't say the word.
Just to answer my question. Just answer my question. Just answer my question.
Venezuela.
Is there any country? You were saying Venezuela is a shithole country?
It is right now, because under the leadership of that country, which is none,
when we say
4 million people have left Venezuela because
when
it's a
we say the bad
country.
people, the good people, we're not talking about the country. The country being the country, the land, and the general people.
Okay.
It can't be called a shithole.
Well, whatever. You can.
I hate the term shithole, but excuse me, my dear friend, I'm quoting from our beloved President of the United States.
That was a casual comment he made, because it was. If every country, there was 3 countries you mentioned are
he is.
Are horrible.
Casual he is. He's United States President.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's the President of the United States of
America. So you can go ahead and rant on it, okay? What I'm going to say, like President Trump says, well, they tell me Obama's more popular in Germany than I am, than Trump is. And he says, wow, if I'm ever more popular in Germany than Obama, then I'm not doing my job. Obama just bent over for all of these countries, okay, the European countries. Trump is standing up. We got another $100 billion out of the NATO countries that weren't even paying their 2%, and still a lot of them aren't, including Germany, which is paying 1%.
You're shifting grounds. I'm talking about.
But he's not running for president. He says, I'm president of America.
I'm talking about no country is the country that President Donald Trump was once talking about.
Okay, whatever. Let's move on.
Because let's move on.
There's no value anymore.
My dear friend, my lovely audience, let's take a short moment now. We come back to continue.
Everything we have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host English News.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audience. Welcome back to the show, the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history, and that is hand-forged by 10 generations of the craftsman, the greatest craftsman, which stands for a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. I wish someday I get one.
I need some glory.
Yeah,
right. No, I don't get it here.
I didn't do it. Someday I get one, or here, or here, or there. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, back to the show. We had a discussion about those stuff that we feel that we have disagreement to share about, but there's one thing, which is the last one that you on your list of.
Yeah.
Well, probably we need something to cheer up.
This is really very, very, very nice. And it's something that may come to a surprise to a lot of people, okay? Now, yesterday, there is an organization in America, a nonprofit conservative student organization, all right, called Turning Point USA, founded by Charlie Kirk, who's a young guy, I know he's probably in his early 30s or something, in 2016, and for conservative young Americans. And they had their convention yesterday in Washington, D.C., and there was well over 1,000 people in the auditorium. And President Trump, it was called the Teen Student Action Summit, TSAS, Teen Student Action Summit. And President Trump addressed the group for really like almost 2 hours. And it was like a Beatles concert. Because they were going crazy for him. 90% were wearing Trump hats, et cetera, et cetera. And they're young conservative Americans that believe in our Constitution, want to maintain the vision of America as perpetrated by our founding fathers. And it was so nice. Everybody thinks, well, all the millennials, wow, all they are is, leftists and everything. But it's not true. And this one's on about 200 campuses. And also they had 3 people come up and talk that are conservatives on these campuses. These were school campuses, high school campuses, that were either assaulted or demeaned or thrown at or something because they're conservative. And one guy who's just a sophomore in high school, he says, every day I wear my MAGA hat to school, and every day I get demeaned, every day I get whatever. He says, I'm going to wear it until they kill me. And I mean, the commitment was so beautiful. And Trump talked a great speech, in my opinion, that went through all of the benefits of America, what America has done in really creating.
For example, what issues that he talking about to the young people?
Well, one issue
that moved you so much.
Well, he said, I think accurately, that America is the only country that goes and fights in other countries for the survival and improvement of the other countries. I mean, you talk about like World War II. What did we do? We would have been, we could have been here, but we got in it too late, to be honest. But we got in it. We lost, 300,000 men to overcome the access of evil and that kind. And our people died.
That was a glorious part that we would like to keep in history.
And
right?
then what did we do there?
But in history also,
we beat them.
In history also,
yeah. But when we beat them, we rebuilt Germany and we rebuilt Japan to phenomenal countries that are our allies,
including Japan. We rebuilt Japan.
Totally.
We rebuilt Japan.
Right.
But we stopped the war. Right?
We what?
We stopped the war. We
did stop it.
It was we who stopped the war.
We won the war. And then instead of, they could have been states in America.
But later the glory stops.
Well,
Stop
that's
right
according
there.
to you.
We did get you. We did
That's
get you
according to
involved.
you.
We did create wars. Take Iraq for example.
Take Korea.
Take
the Korean War.
No, take Iraq for example.
Okay.
Right? Well, what did we fight for?
Well, we fought for fighting jihadists in radical Muslim terrorism that wanted to kill Americans.
Massive destructive weapons. Did we
well,
find
sure.
any?
I believe they were there. Because what happened...
No.
Well,
Your believing is one thing.
Yes, we did.
Believe,
yeah, we
right?
did.
Did we find any
yes.
massive destructive weapons?
Yes. How about poison gas that Iraq put upon their own people and killed thousands of their own people? That is a mass.
But that
weapon.
was not a starting point. The starting point
that happened before the
was
war
the
started.
massive destructive weapons. And that was the time. They. I mean, even Saddam Hussein was a friend of America.
Well,
come on.
We worked with him.
Come on.
Jack, if you wanted to meet us, you can. I'm not going to.
Even Bin Laden. Bin Laden was a friend of a previous Jew, George Bush, George H.W. Bush, 41.
Because they were in the oil business.
All right.
I wouldn't say friend.
Okay.
Don't say friend.
No. They are friends. They were friends.
No, they were.
They were close friends.
No, they weren't.
They were close friends. Okay,
not.
now you say about
true.
creating wars.
That's not true.
Let's stick to Iraq. What did we find in Iraq?
Well, we found about 300,000 bodies buried that they had killed their own people, Jack. Does that matter to you?
It
matters to me.
That was not the point. That was not the point. The point was the destructive weapons, massive destructive weapons.
Well, it was more than that.
We haven't found it.
It was more than that, okay?
Right? And then we sacrificed 4,400 young women and young boys.
Well, we lost 3,000 in one day at 9/11, and that was before that.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, I mean, if you want to look for evil, okay, that's fine. Now,
I am talking about, you're saying that he says America is the only country willing to fight for other countries.
We do. We've gone in and helped
other
countries.
There are times we did wage wrong wars.
Well, in your opinion, that's fine.
All right.
I think it was a...
So in your opinion, that's fine. I say the same thing.
Right.
I say the same thing.
But anyway, his speech, which was long, and it was, and of course, on the economy,
okay.
but also on the leadership.
What else examples
Well, he talked about
another issue.
Well, he
that
talked about the
touched you
leadership,
so much.
the major commitment leadership issues of all these young people, willing to be publicly a conservative and believe in America, believe in the Constitution, and support our country, which is not. They don't burn flags. They raise flags. Okay, big difference. And so it was gloriously inspiring for those kids, and they inspired Trump also. And it was like a
Do
rocket.
you divide people by only burning or raising flags?
I don't divide people at all. You're either good or bad based on your individual characteristics.
Well,
I don't group any two people together.
Is
Jack.
there anybody? No. We have soldiers who rose the flag of the United States in Iwo Jima.
Yeah, we
in the
did.
battle.
Three of them died within 3 days.
Iwo Jima, right?
Big
And
battle.
then we have the bad guys, the criminals, who burns the United States flags.
Okay,
Right.
they
Now,
are bad.
Heroes and the criminals. How about that?
Heroes and criminals.
Okay, now, there are heroes, there are criminals. So,
Yeah.
in between heroes and the criminals, are there more people, or there are only
yeah.
these two kind?
No, heroes are very, very rare on the extreme.
All right, and the criminals are very rare too.
Yeah,
The
it
big
should be more
majority,
rare.
the big
Should be more rare.
majority is the people in between.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Well, of course it is.
Judging people by either the flag raiser and flag burner is not a smart way.
Well, I'm saying these young teens were proud Americans, believing in the Constitution, believing in the leadership of our president, and they were there like they were at a Beatle concert, and they were emotionally stimulated and appreciative of the message of President Trump, which included all the economy thing, but also a lot about their potential leadership, because these are leaders. If they're young people and they're active and they're conservative, they're going to stay in that mode the rest of their life. They're not all going to go in politics, I hope. I hope they go into other things that are more successful.
Good, that's good.
Because mostly you go into politics.
My concern is that, well, I wish those young men, young women,
Yeah, both.
right,
Yeah.
are not brainwashed.
Well, you can think those thoughts if you want.
Right?
They
Okay.
happen to be
would
enlightened,
would
Jack.
not sacrifice for Donald Trump philosophy.
Donald Trump's philosophy is American philosophy, Jack. Don't say that.
You may argue. I'm
not
with
arguing,
me.
I just pointed out the
I can
truth.
argue till tomorrow.
Yeah.
At that point. It doesn't
I've got all day.
represent the United States of America.
That's not, no. Yes, it is. Donald Trump's leadership represents the
My
Constitution
only problem
and
is
freedom.
that my only problem
In the
is
Bill of
that
Rights.
even though I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump, I do not see anybody who can perform better than Donald Trump. That is my problem.
I don't think we'll
friend.
ever fight another Trump, because they're all going to be, in the future, they're
That
going to,
happened the last election, and this coming election,
Yeah.
looking at the 25 candidates. I don't see anybody.
Pathetic.
I don't
I
see
hate to
anybody
say it.
who will perform better than Donald Trump.
And I'd love
That
to-
is my
yeah.
tragedy. I feel sad about.
Well, that's my glory, so that's fine. Okay, but it's sad what they have lined up there in the Democrats. They don't have any moderate Democrats in there. And when you want to give, they want to give illegals coming into this country illegally more money and more health care than citizens, our own citizens.
You know what? If they keep pushing me, I would rather vote for Bernie Sanders.
Well, if you want to be a socialist, you can.
No.
I think it'd make me cry.
I'm not talking about being
Bernie
whatsoever.
Sanders is just fading. He's pathetic.
I'll pick the extreme left.
Well, if you'd pick the extreme left over America, that's your choice, Jack. You may make that.
Of course.
I just don't think
And I
you will.
enjoy the freedom. I enjoy the freedom.
You can be.
I enjoy the freedom of doing so.
Oh, yeah, you have that
And
freedom.
I'm sad about the fact that I'm not willing to do so. I'm pushed to do so. Pushed by what? Pushed by the division. And
Created by Obama in previous
That
administrations.
is the part I feel sad about.
Yeah, Trump didn't divide us.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anyway, you may say that. My dear friend, my lovely audience, with Ken Hamming, with my dear friend Ken Hamming, I have the best time of arguing. How about that? I put it this way. I enjoy the best time, which is the pleasure of arguing with him. Do the bloody argument.
But today was very stimulating. Very stimulating.
Well,
very
anyway,
appreciate that.
you may say
Your
that.
viewers
may
and
say
you
that.
allow me to
may
be a
say
part
that.
of your
Yeah,
family.
Sure.
I'm honored.
I'm glad he and I were that kind of friend who argue all the time, but we love every time. We love more every time we argue.
Absolutely.
Very good. So a little over time, but I try to be precise. Thank you, my dear friend, for watching. And to Ken Hemming,
Bless your viewers.
Here's the big handshake.
Yeah, of unity.
All right. To
Unity.
All right. To whatever, to this country we love.
To
Okay?
the country we love.
Okay. Very
Good deal. Thank you.